All right, I'll go ahead and call to order the regular meeting of the City Council for October 21st, 2024. Please join me in invocation and pledge of allegiance. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, and we thank you for this opportunity to come together to do the people's business, Lord. We ask that you grant us wisdom and discernment as we seek to improve our community and make Maumelle even better than it was the day before. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. I spoke with Councilmember Holt, and he was advised that he was unwell and wouldn't be able to make tonight's meeting. So with that, y'all have a copy of the minutes from the October 7th City Council meeting. I'd entertain a motion to adopt those minutes.
So moved.
I've got a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on that? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
All opposed, no. Motion carries. I don't have any public comment cards, so that will bring us to the financial statement review. Ms. Sousa?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Tina. In the page one, we have the general fund. We are going to talk about the results as of September 2024. So the revenue of the expected budget we had is in line with budget. The property tax, if you can notice, is $141,000 more than 2023. However, we may be $100,000 on the revised budget by the end of the year. So because we are not collecting the capital improvements anymore, and it's being reflected in the last months of this year. Also, the city and county sales taxes collected during 2024 is $23,000 lower than in 2023. And I really think that we will be on the revised budget for similar amount by year end. And this is like about $200,000 that we will be on the budget. However, we have planning permits department, investment earnings, and miscellaneous revenue that help to recover revenue. So we will be at the end a little even above the budget. So this is what my expectations, our expectations. In the expenditures, we have in the police and the fire department, thank you, Tina. Expenditures are higher in 2024, as you know, due to salary and benefit increases. In the senior services department, we have an additional expenditures this year, but she made a lot of improvements in the building. She also did a study for indoor swimming pool. So we have repairs for the building, 3 services in ground. She also hired more instructors for classes. So that means a higher budget for this department. And in the city services area, we have expenditures higher than 2023 for $3.9 million. But if you recall, we have audit 2022 was paid this year. We also have computer maintenance and cloud fee increase for about like $400,000 together. Insurance expenditures for property and auto were higher also in 2024. We also reflect in this line the transfer approving budget for the transfer from general fund to capital improvements for the $3.2 million. That is 180,000 for the engine 1 and 2, and $3.1 million for the training facility. And so those are reflected in this line. That's why it's so big. And then we have capital expenditures. In this year, we have had much more expenses than last year because we have done different things this year. For example, the payment for the pickleball complex were finalized this year, and it is operating. We have the software conversion for police department. We bought police vehicles, and we implemented the camera system and door access system for the police department and for the community center. So this is everything on the page 1, the fund number 1. The second page, I'm presenting you the fund balance. As of September 2024, the fund balance is 9.7 million after the operational transfers. So the requirement for this fund is 4.7 million. That is the 20% of the revised budget operational expenses. So the fund balance is good. We are above requirement for $5 million. In the next page, we have the street fund. Tina, porfa. In the street fund, the state turnback is compensated by the city street aid program revenue. If you see, one is positive and another negative. So we are okay in street revenue. In the expenditure side, we have operating transfer to Club Manor for 1.2 million, and it is what is reflected in the operating line of expenditures. And we also have increase on salaries that is reflected in this line. In the capital expenditures, we have path improvements, street overlays and stripping for $480,000, and we have a ramp truck purchase for $200,000, and other street equipment for $47,000. The fund balance as of September is $4.1 million, and this is after the operational transfers. So we are okay in this fund as well. It is important to mention that we have done the purchases in the city in cash basis because we had funds, but we have not required any loan as of today. So that's why you see that the balances are reducing. And then the next fund is our sanitation fund that I will not talk much about it because you know the situation we are living here. So in general, the capital expenditures here that we have here reflect just 2 deposits for the sanitation side, the armed refuse trucks that probably will be delivered to us in 2 or 3 years. No, it takes time, so we needed to give some money to start on that. And as of September 2024, we have a fund balance of $767,000. Well, as you know, I cannot say that we are okay. What we need is to generate cash flow. And then the last page is our police and fire fund. That is just for informative purposes. We have been collecting the 0.5 on regular basis, so there is nothing extraordinary here. In some financial updates, we continue working on the budget 2025, and we expect to distribute for you the first draft very soon. The mayor is working on that, and if everything goes well, I print on Friday to deliver to you next Monday. It's just timing. And then we continue also working with the auditors. Their management team in their office, review the audit papers, and they have questions sometimes. I'm still hoping that they deliver very soon the financial statements. Also, the mayor validate with them, and they put it in writing that they will be this year. So hopefully. And we continue with the fixed assets module implementation within OpenGov. And we are going to start with this module on January 1st, 2025. And I think that will be a very good asset for the city because we will be able to track in electronic manner the assets that we buy for more than $5,000 at the beginning. And after that, we are still planning to monitor the smaller assets than 5,000, more than 1,000, but less than 5,000, like computers or iPads, telephones probably, things that we do not monitor today because they are expenditure for the city. And that's all what I have for today, Mayor.
Thank you. Were there any questions? Councilmember Mosley?
Yeah, let's go back to the audit here.
Yes.
I'm getting better with your accent, but I'm still.
I know, I'm
Still, there's several sentences that come along that I don't get, so.
Okay.
Anyway, as far as the audit, when do they think they'll be through with the audit?
We are in October. They say by the beginning of November, they are having a draft for us.
They have what?
A draft.
Oh, a draft. Oh, by early November, they'll have a draft. Okay, so they may be presenting the final audit by late November or
They're
early
still,
December?
they're still saying by the end of the year. So they'll have the final draft, we look through it, and then it's, I think, at the simultaneously going through their, what is it called, the redundancy, where they have someone in a different group go through the ACFR as well. So they're still saying it should be presented to the council this year.
Have they already got a draft of the ACFR?
That's what they're saying will be.
I don't have it.
We haven't seen it, and they're saying here in the beginning of November, we should have the draft.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
And what kind of, they have a lot of questions or what?
Not really.
Okay.
Not really. Actually, we are in the opposite because I'm pushing them to give me an answer. But they depend from their management team. So now what can I tell you? I'm really pushing to have it ready because we deliver everything. We answer every single question. Just yesterday, they came with another question, very strange. But anyway, I am answering everything as soon as they ask me.
Okay, so you've already answered all their questions?
Everything.
Oh, okay, good. So the ball's back in their court.
Yes.
That's good. All right. That's all I've got on that. Thank you.
Thank you. If there's nothing further, I'd entertain a motion and second to accept the financials.
Second.
Got a couple motions and a couple seconds there. Any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
All opposed, no. Motion carries.
Thank you.
The next order of business is procedural motion. At this time, I'd entertain a motion to have all ordinances and resolutions read by title only.
So moved.
I've got a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
All opposed, no. Motion carries. That moves us on to unfinished business. The first item of unfinished business is the third reading of ordinance 1132, amending solid waste collection fees. Madam City Clerk, if you could please read that by title only.
Be it enacted by the City Council of the City of Maumelle, County of Pulaski, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled Ordinance Number 1132, an ordinance to amend the Maumelle City Code to increase the solid waste collection fees and for other purposes.
Thank you. I'll go ahead and open the floor for discussion. If there's nothing, I'd entertain a motion to adopt ordinance 1132.
Second.
I've got a motion and a second. Is there any additional discussion on that motion? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Mosley,
Yes.
Hang on a second. Let me get the microphone. I was in the wrong mode. There we go.
Councilmember Grunwald. Yes. Councilmember Mazzoni,
Yes.
Councilmember Williams. Yes. Councilmember Tierney,
Yes.
Councilmember Shin.
Yes.
Motion passes, ordinance 1132 is adopted. That brings us to the third reading of ordinance 1133 regarding a franchise agreement with Unity Fiber. Madam City Clerk, if you could please read that by title only.
Be it enacted by the City Council of the City of Maumelle, County of Pulaski, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled Ordinance Number 1133, an ordinance to authorize Unity Fiber LLC and its successors and assigns to construct, maintain, and operate communications network within the City of Maumelle, Arkansas, including a license to use in the city's rights-of-way and non-residential zones only, to levy a franchise tax, to approve a license agreement, and for other purposes.
Thank you very much. I'll open the floor for discussion. Councilmember Mosley?
I just wanted to emphasize, the only reason I'm voting for this is because it's non-residential, and it should never, they should never, under this agreement, be able to do work in residential neighborhoods.
Thank you. At this time, I'd entertain a motion and a second to adopt Resolution 1133.
So moved. Second.
Is there any additional discussion on that motion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Mosley?
Yes.
Councilmember Grunwald? Yes. Councilmember Mazzoni?
Yes.
Councilmember Williams? Yes. Councilmember Tierney?
Yes.
Councilmember Shin?
Yes.
Motion passes. Ordinance 1133 is adopted. The next order of business is the third reading of ordinance 1134 to authorize electronic funds transfers. Madam City Clerk, if you could please read that by title only.
Be it enacted by the City Council of the City of Maumelle, County of Pulaski, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled Ordinance Number 1134, an ordinance to authorize the payment of certain municipal bills via electronic funds transfers and for other purposes.
All right, thank you. I passed out, Councilmember Mosley had asked if, to sort of put into writing our electronic funds transfer policy, and I passed that out just so y'all had that to be able to look at. Just a reminder, we've been paying electronic funds for fairly, for a while, through things like check direct deposits, various payments, ACH payments that we've been making. City attorney found a statute that required us to pass an ordinance allowing that, and so that is this ordinance. I'll go ahead and open the floor for discussion. Hang on a second. Sorry. There we go. Councilmember Mosley?
Yeah, when we developed these, did some other city, did we get theirs and just start with that as a basis, or how did we develop these procedures?
For the policy, Ms.
Yeah.
Sousa, come on down. The question was how we developed the electronic funds transfer policy.
Well, I just review the articles that we have in place. I went to the legislative document that is the minimum requirements to have ACH or electronic transfers. Then I put together with the process that I had already in writing. I put it there. So I just review the process and together with the legislative document, I put the policy together.
Okay, you didn't like using other cities for a model or anything?
Well, yes, I usually do.
Which
I
city?
mean, I
That's all
don't
right.
like to
There's
write.
no problem with that. I'm just curious because it's
Yes,
very.
I work together with the North Little Rock, Sherwood, and what is, I forgot, Bryan City. Those are my three colleagues that help me when I need something.
Yeah.
They don't even have one. I'm going to now to share mine with them.
There's
They send me, everybody send you like articles or procedures. This document, I did it for you to comply your requirement because, I mean, it's a good idea. It's just time consuming to put those documents in writing.
Okay. I was gonna ask the city attorney if he's had a chance to review these. It says here that we need to be operated pursuant to written policies and procedures that are compliant with best practices by the Legislative Joint Auditing Committee. Has anybody, has the city attorney, anybody reviewed this to make sure these are compliant with that Arkansas Code 1459-105?
Mr. City Attorney?
It's the best practices that are issued there. The best practices are attached to the proposed ordinance. The best practices are not in the Arkansas state law. They just refer to the Legislative Audit Committee documents. And no, I haven't had a chance to go through the draft written policy that we have for Ms. Souza.
Okay. Well, based on that and the fact that I haven't had a chance to review them, I won't be able to vote yes tonight. And I sincerely hope that over time that our accounting department can be a little bit more curious about internal controls and making sure things are done right. So,
Well, you said more curious? Is there an implication that they're not already?
well, I was been a little bit disappointed in that. I'd asked one night when we were here at the city council about the all-inclusive playground and splash pad and how that was set up and the outside entity, and Ms. Souza seemed to know nothing about that. And
So you don't mean internal controls, you mean external controls of third-party finances?
Well, it's not entirely third party, I don't think, because we've got our Parks and Recreation Director that's been basically a signee on a check for a nonprofit, and he's been controlling the money. So to me, that should fall under having some controls in place about how that's all working. And
Well, I have the responsibility, allow me to say this, I have responsibility for the city of Mamel, and I was hired for the city of Mamel. So if I can finish with the city of Mamel up and running and all the written procedures at some point to have them ready, I have just written 2 policies. The purchasing policy, when I just arrived because I really needed to operate properly. And now I wrote this one. Once I finish City of Mamel and catch up with everything, that there are some issues, then I maybe evaluate together with the mayor if we want to go to control third-party companies, right? Because this is not. It is related with the city of Mamel because probably it is a project that the city started, but I don't write policies for the non-profit organizations, Mayor.
Yes, ma'am.
all right, that's all I've got to say. I didn't understand all that.
Well, probably.
Councilmember Williams?
Motion to adopt ordinance number 1134.
I've got a motion and a second to adopt ordinance 1134. Is there any additional discussion? Seeing none. Madam City Clerk, roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Mosley,
No?
Councilmember Grunwald. Yes. Councilmember Mazzoni,
Yes.
Councilmember Williams. Yes. Councilmember Tierney,
Yes.
Councilmember Shin,
Motion passes. Ordinance 1134 is adopted. That brings us to the third reading of ordinance 1135, amending the Code of Ethics. Madam City Clerk, if you could please read that by title only.
be it enacted by the City Council of the City of Maumelle, County of Pulaski, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled Ordinance Number 1135, an ordinance to amend the Maumelle City Code to adopt a code of ethics for all city boards and commissions and for other purposes.
All right, I'll open the floor for discussion. If there is none, I'd entertain a motion to adopt Resolution 1135.
So moved.
Motion is second. Any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Mosley,
Yes.
Councilmember Grunwald. Yes. Councilmember Mazzoni,
Yes.
Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Councilmember Tierney,
Yes.
Councilmember Shin.
Motion passes. Ordinance 1135 is adopted. That brings us to the second reading of ordinance 1136 to amend the zoning map, Mayberry property. Madam City Clerk, if you could please read that by title only.
Be it enacted by the City Council of the City of Maumelle, County of Pulaski, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled Ordinance Number 1136, an ordinance to amend the city's zoning map for 35.7 acres, more or less along White Oak Crossing, and for other purposes.
All right, thank you. I'll open the floor for discussion. All right, this will be on third reading at the next city council meeting. With that, if we could have the second reading of ordinance 1137, amending the land use plan map. Madam City Clerk?
Be it enacted by the City Council of the City of Maumelle, County of Pulaski, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled Ordinance Number 1137, an ordinance to amend the city's land use plan map for Track 3, split of Good Samaritan Track 103 Audubon Drive, and for other purposes.
All right, thank you. I'll open the floor for discussion. Seeing none, this will be on third reading at the next city council meeting. Next order of business is the second reading of ordinance 1138, amending a master street plan. Madam City Clerk, if you could please read that by title only.
Be it enacted by the City Council of the City of Maumelle, County of Pulaski, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled Ordinance Number 1138, an ordinance to amend the city's master street plan and for other purposes.
Thank you. I'll go ahead and open the floor for discussion. Councilmember Mosley?
Yeah, I wonder if Mr. Grummer could kind of come up and give us an explanation of some of the things and maybe the more important aspects of this, what he
Grummer?
views as the most important.
Scott Grummer, 550 Edgewood Drive. So this is a master street plan amendment that we're making throughout the entire city, just looking at doing updates in areas that the master street plan needs to be updated, as well as coordinating with North Little Rock and the county and the updates they're doing on their plans. I guess you'll see a list that we provided, 1 through 13, that's in your agenda packet that kind of lists out the different things. Primarily, we have some updates in the ETJ on the north side of the city to Smalling Road. That's one of the larger ones. We're seeing developments up there, and we needed those roads coordinated for collector. And then also, which you'll also see on the map, they're all numbered, so if you have any questions about any particular one, you can ask me what number and we can refer back to that. But numbers 4 and 5, which is in North Maumelle on Highway 365, those are important ones because we do have a small area plan for that area, and for future growth out there, it would be well advised to have those roads for collector status in order to connect to 365 and a proposed roundabout, which of course is just proposed. We don't know what the future holds, but that location itself we've identified in the plan as being a good location for getting north-south traffic onto 365. So we just wanted to put a point there for any future developers that may come in as to what the city's plans are. Otherwise, we've made some improvements. A lot of the improvements you'll see just south of White Oak, closer to the interstate. We had some proposed arterials that were added in, as well as some proposed collectors. We added in roundabouts at the White Oak interchange for traffic mitigation around those areas for future development. One thing that we certainly want to make sure that we coordinate is a good traffic flow around the interchanges. And Other than that, we just had coordination changes with North Little Rock as those roads come up through North Little Rock and come into Maumelle, attaching to White Oak Crossing.
All right. Item number 6, I actually asked you about that, I think, after a meeting, and I was wondering if you could share that. It's an arterial connecting Carnahan across the bayou over to Marche Road, which is I guess, actually allows another way out of Maumelle. And is there any chance, I don't know, the mayor may have some comments on this, is there any chance of another entrance being used after that sort of a connection?
Well, first of all, if you recall back before Tractor Supply was developed, there was a proposed connection across the White Oak Bayou at that location. It wasn't feasible because of the span across the bayou. It just didn't make sense. So we removed that, and that also opened up the opportunity for Tractor Supply to develop there. As part of that approval process for that change, it was requested that we find a place where we would replace that crossing. And after discussion with Hollow Engineering, who does a lot of work in Maumelle, and looking at that, the connection where it's shown, the proposed connection for an arterial, that's the most narrowest part of the bayou, and it also aligns itself real well with Marche Road and a potential access over the railroad at that location. So if in the future there ever was opportunity, whether if it's private developer to develop that crossing or the city, we've got it there on the Master Street plan to make those alignments. I think it would be nice to see that come in, because it would give better access to Marche as well as Oak Grove into the town center area, which helps people get in and shop more in Maumelle. It also provides better access for the schools, the high school, the middle school that's over there. I'm not too sure how or when that would happen, but.
Okay, yeah, I'm just wondering if it opens the door for the possibility of another connection to I-40, another interchange.
You know, it's possible. I don't know. That's not for me to say. That would be RDOT, and whether they would even allow that at that location.
I think the short answer is yes. You know, I was having a conversation with someone the other day, and they said, "When are we going to get a 4th entrance?" And I said, "I think it's time to start talking about one." And they're like, "What? We just got the 3rd one open." I said, "Well, the 3rd one took 30 years from when people started talking about it and looking at it." One thing we know is that area is going to build out, and we want to tie it in to the central Maumelle, which was always the plan. We've you know, when the 3rd entrance came through the council, and for a myriad of other reasons, kind of wanted that connection to not come from the Carnahan area, but instead come off of White Oak Crossing. So that's the logical next place that one would be, if one would be. But I told somebody I don't know that it'll be built in their lifetime, and maybe not mine, but it's a process that we've got to start talking about and mentioning. So I guess it'll be in the minutes now.
All right, that's all I've got, thank you.
All right, this is on 2nd reading. If there's nothing further, it'll be on 3rd reading at the next city council meeting. All right, moving on to new business. The first item of new business is Resolution 2024-38, setting a date for a petition hearing. Madam City Clerk, if you could please wait for me to get on the right screen. Get your mic on. There we go. If you could please read that by title only.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of Maumelle, County of Pulaski, State of Arkansas, a resolution to be entitled Resolution Number 2024-38, a resolution to set November 18th, 2024 as the date for hearing a petition to form the City of Maumelle Municipal Property Owners Multipurpose Improvement District Number 2024-01 Stone Canyon Project and for other purposes.
All right, thank you. This just sets the hearing for it, and we're setting it the second, council meeting in, November. Open the floor for discussion. Councilmember Mosley?
Okay, yeah, we haven't done one of these for a long time. And some of the, I think we've got some new council members that may not have even seen one of these come through. But, basically, as I understand this is a hearing for a improvement district that will basically be used to, take all the construction costs and set up a fund where I think in the past, it's been called special improvement taxes, where the homeowners that buy a home in there will be paying off all those things like sewer and all those things that are usually done to develop a neighborhood. Is that correct?
What part of that? All of that? So
In other words, is there going to be special improvement taxes on the homeowners of this based on what we're
I don't know.
moving toward?
I haven't heard the hearing, so what this resolution is for setting that hearing. One of the things I would point out is that improvement districts are something that we've been pushing for in certain areas, and I'm not saying this is the specific reason, but we've been pushing for improvement districts, and we did one. Andrew seems to think, the city attorney seems to think right before he became city attorney. So we do these every couple of years, and the council sits in administrative capacity, and the improvement district can be used for all sorts of things. I haven't been in contact with the applicants to determine what specifically they're wanting to do, but improvement districts do have, I don't know that you'd call them taxing power, but a power to levy the fees in a stronger way than POAs, which is why we've advocated for them in certain areas where they're keeping private roads or things where the POAs are fumbling, or in some places have never stood up or not had strong enough teeth to ensure that they're maintaining that. Mr. City Attorney?
Yes, we do have a attorney on behalf of the applicant here. I believe these two, these are just the resolutions to set the hearing. But if we're getting to the meat of it, these two, I'm told, are just for the very typical purpose for providing recreational facilities and then maintaining infrastructure and improvements. My understanding of the law is that at the hearing date, the city council basically only has a couple functions. First, to determine whether the owners of all the real property inside the proposed district has signed the petition. And then second, to hear if a mortgagee holding a first mortgage lien on the property, on any property comprising 10%? Yeah, comprising 10% objects to the formation. So if the city council finds that not all the owners of the property have not signed the petition, or if a mortgagee appears and objects, then the city council has an obligation to deny it. But otherwise, I think the city council will have an obligation to grant it. It's my understanding of the law.
Okay. There's a couple of ordinances here that will be ready for the third reading by that hearing. It'll be
Yes.
the same night.
This hearing date will be the scheduled third reading of the two associated ordinances, which are 1139 and 1140.
That's why I'm asking more questions tonight, because it's all set up to culminate there together. But as I understand this, I read that second one that says notice your signature here on blah blah. It talks about it looks unlimited as to whatever they could roll in there. Down there at the bottom is construction. Talks about construction, operate, maintain, improvements, so on and so forth. So it's these things. I've never been a fan of them, because it appears that developers are basically taking their cost of developing a neighborhood and putting them off on the future homeowners instead of being in the cost of a lot. So, to me, most homeowners, most home buyers probably don't really understand what's going on here, and it just, to me, I would rather see developers bear the costs and sell the lot for a higher price. So, I would probably be voting no on all this stuff, but I'll wait for the hearing and check it out myself, so. Anyway, I just wanted to mention all that because these are interesting creatures, and we've had trouble with that in the past, where these districts weren't set up very well, and they went under, and homeowners had to get together and make it all work. So, thank you.
Thank you, sir. I'd entertain a motion to adopt resolution number 2024-38. We've got a motion and a second. Any additional discussion on this resolution? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
All opposed, no.
No.
Motion carries. That brings us to resolution 2024-39, setting a date for a petition hearing. Madam City Clerk, if you could please read that by title only.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of Maumelle, County of Pulaski, State of Arkansas, a resolution to be entitled Resolution Number 2024-39, a resolution to set the November 18, 2024 as the date for a hearing, a petition to form the City of Maumelle's Municipal Property Owners Multi-Purpose Improvement District Number 2024-02, Cypress Bend Project, and for other purposes.
Right, thank you. Similar thing, different property. This resolution sets a hearing date for the second meeting in November. Councilmember Mosley?
Is this Cypress Bend, is this the neighborhood that's already been developed there along White Crossing? Am I mixed up here? Is that what this is?
The Cypress Bend property is the, Mr. Grummer, which one is Cypress Bend? I suspect I know the answer, but
Here's at ordinance 1140 is Cypress Bend, and 1139 is Stone Canyon. The Cypress Bend Phase 1 has completed, but Phase 2 is under development.
and
Still
which, I think the question is, which subdivision is that? Where is that located?
Where is it?
White Oak Crossing.
Okay.
Is that the,
Roush Coleman Homes?
Yes, sir. Rouse Coleman Homes. yes.
Okay, so phase one has been developed, and is this just for phase two, or is this for phase one also, do you think?
This didn't come through my office, so I'm not aware. I would probably direct it to the applicant's representative on what that is.
Yeah, I guess my question is if this covers something that's already been developed, how can we do that?
Well, I mean, it's, so you can, I would assume you can put it over both properties anytime. The question is make sure that the petitioners have signed, and who that is. But, you would want it over both phase one and phase two because there's private space that is to be owned and maintained by the POA at some point in time, and this is that, mechanism that can help, pay for that.
Okay, but if the homes have already been sold, the lots have already been sold, then it's not owned 100% or anything like that. So it would appear that it'd be rough to set something up like that after the fact with homeowners already in there.
I would direct that to the council. I'm not,
yeah, so I mean, that's what the council's job is, to verify those things, and ensure that like the city attorney said, that we've verified the signatures, we've, looked for the objections,
Okay.
and those, and the like. I still think of Cypress Bend as the M, subdivision. I can't get that out of my head, no matter how hard I try. Councilmember Williams?
Motion to adopt resolution number 2024-39.
I've got a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second to adopt resolution number 2024-39. Is there any additional discussion on that? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
All opposed, no.
No.
Motion carries. We will move on to the first reading of ordinance 1139, establishing an improvement district. Madam City Clerk, if you could please read that by title only.
Be it enacted by the City Council of the City of Maumelle, County of Pulaski, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled Ordinance Number 1139, an ordinance to establish and lay off the City of Maumelle Municipal Property Owners Multi-Purpose Improvement District Number 2024-01 Stone Canyon Project and for other purposes.
Thank you. So this is the ordinance that corresponds to the hearing that was set by Resolution 2024-38. I'll open the floor for discussion. We do have a representative. Mr. Jackson, are you here on both of those or just one or the other?
Yes.
Maybe you could come down and, it sounds like one of the questions was just if you could speak to what the intent or purpose or what's going on with these, it might calm some, or it might answer some questions.
Sure. And my wife is the attorney for the developer. I am her husband. I am also an attorney. She is out of town and she asked me to appear. So I do not know the underlying master plan or the development plan for either one of these properties. I can answer the procedural question of already built homes and already sold lots. That would be, as you said, would be extremely unwieldy because each owner would have to sign and say, I want to participate in this district. And these, reading over these parcels, you can tell they're owned by an LLC or individuals. So I don't think that is not an issue on that.
Thank you, sir.
Saying where there are developed homes, this wouldn't cover that?
If the homeowner said, I want to participate in it, the homeowner can.
Okay.
That's a homeowner's right, if they so choose to do so.
Participate, but then you could have non-participating homeowners within that area?
No.
So it has to be 100%.
Yeah, it's not a majority.
It has to be 100%.
100%, so, okay, so basically, if somebody objects, then you couldn't have it
Correct. Their property would be carved out.
carved out.
So they didn't sign the petition that's in your packet.
It'd be carved out with.
They just wouldn't even be a part of it. I mean, wouldn't be carved out.
They'd still have a right to use the sewer and all that, but they wouldn't have to pay for the fees or whatever?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not part of the district. They're not part of the district.
All right. All right, thank you. Appreciate your coming around.
Sure.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Is there any additional discussion on ordinance 1139? If not, it will be on second reading at the next city council meeting. The next order of business is the first reading of ordinance 1140, establishing improvement district 2024-02. Madam City Clerk, if you could please read that by title only.
Be it enacted by the City Council of the City of Maumelle, County of Pulaski, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled Ordinance Number 1140, an ordinance to establish and lay off the City of Maumelle Municipal Property Owners Multi-Purpose Improvement District Number 2024-02, Cypress Bend Project, and for other purposes.
All right, I'll open the floor for discussion. All right, this will be on second reading at the next city council meeting. That brings us to resolution 2024-40, a resolution to certify the taxation rate for the tax year 2024. Madam City Clerk, if you could please read that by title only.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of Maumelle, Pulaski County, Arkansas, resolution number 2024-40, A resolution certifying to the Pulaski County, Arkansas County Clerk, the rates of taxation to be levied by the City of Maumelle on taxable real and personal property within the City of Maumelle, Arkansas for the tax year 2024.
Thank you very much. So this is just our annual resolution where we certify to the county clerk what the rates of taxation are. There's no changes from last year. This doesn't set taxes, it just lets them know what the tax rate is. Open the floor for discussion. I'd entertain a motion to adopt Resolution 2024-10.
So moved.
Any additional discussion on this resolution? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
All opposed, no. Motion carries. Resolution 2024-10 is adopted. That concludes new business. On to mayor's comments. Really quickly, early voting has started. The city attorney shared with me a post from the county clerk's office, or from someone with the county, that said that the Maumelle Jess Odom Community Center polling location was one of the top 2 busiest polling locations today. I was out there. There was a fair number of people, but I was still in and out in 5-7 minutes. So don't forget, it's that time. I also wanted to, I guess, formally announce, you've seen the letter that was included in the packet. The city was awarded the roughly $2.1 million grant for Club Manor Corridor. That is combined with the $1.1 million grant that we have. So we've got $3.2 million from feds for the Club Manor Corridor through MetroPlan. That's roughly a $4 million project, which would put the city's portion roughly at $800,000. One of the neat things is this time they released the scores. Normally just the reviewing board gets to see the scores of all the different projects. And this project was number 2 in the metropolitan area for the number 2 highest ranking roadway project. And, you know, sometimes people say, hey, I love that we're focusing on trails, but maybe we could use some more money over here or move some more money over there. This is one of those projects that was designed in part because we saw the direction and the priorities that MetroPlan was setting for their grants. And so we had a project that would work and sort of custom tailored that to be able to leverage off those funds. So we're hoping that this project goes out for bid. We're right at the 100% plans phase. We've already submitted 90% plans to RDOT. So that project will hopefully be moving here sooner than later. On the sad side of that, we also applied for engineering of a roundabout or roundabouts at the along White Oak Crossing to manage ingress and egress off of White Oak Crossing. That project did not receive engineering funding, which is all right because we have the opportunity to go meet with MetroPlan folks and see if this is the type of project that could be designed or built and score better if we were just in tough competition this year. So that is that. Just a reminder, budget workshop meetings begin here soon. We will get the budget to you as soon as possible, with the first budgeted meeting scheduled to be next Tuesday, October 29th. And that'd be in the Blue Room here. That is open to the public. It is streamed on YouTube. So just get that on your calendar, and we're ahead of schedule. At least we're setting the meetings ahead of schedule. I think last year they were both in early December. We still have some crunching to do before we get that, so hopefully those dates stick. But with that, I'll shush and conclude mayor's comments and move on to council member comments. Councilmember Mosley.
I wanted to follow up and see if we can finish this off. I was wanting to take this sentence out of the public comment, and we discussed it last meeting, and I think the mayor was agreeable, and he was going to be contemplating whether he wanted to replace it with some language that I think it's called a limited form. Is that correct, Mr. City Attorney? And anyway, do you have some proposed language you'd like to replace that with?
I don't have anything specifically set out.
Okay. we'll go ahead and remove it, but if we come up with some, I'm happy to vote yes for that other thing. So I'll make a motion that we, go ahead and remove that sentence from public comments, says this privilege may be revoked by the mayor in the case of inappropriate language or comments.
And so just so, for the sake of anyone watching at home, and just to remind everyone, in the, page 1 of the agenda, under public comment, has, comments up here. One of the just kind of guidelines for public comments, one of the sentences in there said the privilege may be revoked by the mayor in case of inappropriate language or comments. I think that this language neither is not binding on anything. I can't think of a time where any mayor, well, I only know the last decade, I haven't seen anyone try and use that, so, I don't have a problem with it being removed. I think that, I also think that it would make sense to say, to limit this to a limited public forum as opposed to a general public forum. And I think there's some legal, significance to that. And so that was my take. But anyway, so I've got a motion to remove the sentence, this privilege may be revoked by the mayor in case of inappropriate language or comments. Do I have a second on that motion? Seeing none, motion fails for lack of second. Is there any additional city council member comments?
Yeah, let me go back to that one. Let me go ahead and make the motion and put in what you said about a limited forum. That'd be more appropriate, and I don't think we get sued for somebody that's maybe, for example, we may have you gone.
So I'm asking, and maybe we could just do it on the record so it doesn't, I was asking the city attorney if he had any recommendations for what that language would look like. The issues not on the agenda but pertinent to this, would you mind hopping on the mic there?
Yes. One proposal would be that very first line where it currently says, and again, this paragraph that we see on every agenda, Madam City Clerk tried to figure out where it came from. As best we can tell, it didn't come from an ordinance, so it doesn't have the effect of law, this paragraph that we put at the top of every agenda. But if you wished to change it, one proposal would be change it to say, that first line to say, during public comment, issues relevant to the city but not on the agenda may be addressed. That would.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that would make it a limited public forum. I'm trying to think of any situation where, there might be some weird cases that might come up where somebody claims it's relevant to the city, but we say, nah, that really is outside our bailiwick. I do think probably the city council doesn't intend for this just to be an open mic for somebody to come up and practice their 3 minutes of stand-up. Probably don't intend that. Or 3 minutes spent reading, their diary from the day or something like that. So I think we probably intended for it to be issues relevant to the public or relevant to the city or something like that. Now, we might not necessarily always agree on whether somebody comes up with that, but that would be my recommendation, I guess. Again, this doesn't have the force of law, so. And city councils, by state law, you have the authority to kind of set the procedures for your meetings as you wish. That's what we do at the beginning of every year.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion that we strike that sentence and insert the language that the city attorney there was just talking about. That would make it a limited public forum, and it would have to pertain to city business or something to do with the city.
So the motion, as I understand it, is a motion to add the phrase pertinent to the city after the word issues and before the word not under public comment, and remove the sentence that says this privilege may be revoked by the mayor in the case of inappropriate language or comments. Does
Exactly.
anyone have any question about that, or was that an accurate motion?
That was very accurate, thank you.
Does anyone have any questions on that? Councilmember Tierney?
What was the language that City Attorney Thornton was suggesting to be inserted?
During public comment, issues pertinent to the city, but not on the agenda may be addressed.
Okay.
And there's a provision later that says if it is on the agenda, it can be addressed, so.
Pertinent to the city.
Pertinent to the city, but. We'll get with the city attorney on where the comma goes. If one goes anywhere. Okay, so I've got that motion,
And to remove that other.
and to remove the, yes. Do I hear a second on that motion?
Second.
I've got a motion and second. Is there any discussion on that motion? Councilmember Mazzoni?
Yeah, I like the change for the first one. The second one, again, I guess I wouldn't, as long as it's pertinent, but I kind of like having at least the mayor say this is, anyone using inappropriate language or comment. I mean, there's a lot that can be said that is outside the rounds of good taste. We need some sort of
Decorum.
yeah, decorum, some sort of avenue to say enough's enough. There's, there could be children here, anything, or listening. We have the Mama Youth Council shows up. We need, I don't know, so my question to the city attorney, will putting the issues relative to the city give us avenue to, I mean, I've not ever seen someone come up and give completely inappropriate comments, but what protections do we have as a city?
I think someone could come up and keep it relevant to the city and probably still cuss. Now, do we have the legal authority once you open up the public forum? So once you set aside a few minutes at the beginning of every council member, typically the only constraints you can put on it are reasonable time, place, and manner. You could restrict people. You can't come in here and use a megaphone. That's a volume constraint. And if we're opening it up for a specific purpose, it has a slightly different analysis than just, the classic public forum is just like the sidewalks along a public street.
Yeah.
You have virtually no control over that. Unless, you can't use can't use a megaphone at 11:30 at night, stuff like that. But if you open up even if you restrict it to issues relevant to the city, even if there are children present, you won't be able to shut somebody down just for cussing.
And you can't, even if you leave this existing language in there.
Yeah, so just to reiterate, I don't think the authority is a mayor's authority does not derive from this paragraph, nor is it limited. This paragraph is largely there for the public to see when they look at the council agenda. So I don't want to say. Yeah. Well, effectively, with the removing it changes nothing. Actually, I think the legally significant change might be the inclusion of the pertinent to the city, but because that then at least declares our intent that it's a limited public forum versus a public forum which has legal significance. But so it's inclusion or removal is not where the authority stems from. Also, whether this says the mayor can silence someone for cursing or not, it's still the First Amendment that governs, so. But anyways, I've got so many lights on, I don't know whose is whose anymore. Is there any additional discussion on the motion? If not, all those in favor of the motion, does everyone understand the motion, or do I need to restate it? Everyone understands it? Okay. Yeah, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying yes.
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 All opposed, no. Can I get a roll call vote? All in favor of the motion, and just, the motion is to include the language, pertinent to the city but, following the word issues, and remove the sentence that says this privilege may be revoked by the mayor in the case of inappropriate language or comments. Madam City Clerk, roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Mosley,
Yes.
Councilmember Grunwald,
No.
Councilmember Mazzoni,
I'm gonna go with yes reluctantly.
Councilmember Williams,
Just don't think it's that important, so I'm just gonna say no.
Councilmember Tierney,
Yes.
Councilmember Sheehan.
No.
Motion fails.
Three yeses, right? Okay, motion fails. Is there any additional council member comments?
Yeah.
Councilmember Mosley?
Had to switch gears there. I was gonna ask if, we could have Courtney Dunn, speak next time we have a department report.
That is certainly possible.
Okay, I'd love to hear what all's going on and what she thinks about things. And, had one more comment, was wanting to do I had a constituent ask, well, actually, they're not in my ward anymore, but they did ask if, I could ask the city to, have the police do a speed trap or something for, Club Manor down around Nicholas Loop, because, he says traffic comes too fast down the boulevard. He says occasionally you get somebody going 60 miles an hour or down the, Club Manor. So anyway, I wanted to pass that along. I told him I'd do that for him, to ask for that.
Sure, I will throw that on C-Click Fix.
All right, thank you.
Any additional council member comments? City attorney comments?
No, sir.
City clerk comments?
No, sir.
I think we've lost video, audio's still there, but there we go. Seeing nothing else, is there anyone who would like to make a motion to adjourn? We've got a motion and a second. Any discussion on that? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying yes. Yes. All opposed, no.